The smell of pig shit is one of a kind. It's not like dog shit or cow shit. This smell, it's bad. It's really bad. And it never goes away. Gets into your clothes. Gets into all kinds of stuff. But you know, for us, smells like money. Y'all, this is Pig Royalty. Okay.
This is Pig Royalty.
This is Discovery Plus. Those of you who have bought Discovery Plus or have signed up because of us, you now know it was worth it.
I'm not sorry. I would have said I'm like for the single life, it's good, it's great, but I still say I'm sorry I made you pay for this.
Nope.
I have no regrets for this.
I think even if this stretches into 2 months, if you're paying $5, $6 a month for this, totally worth it.
Or you could wait. You could wait and do this all in a binge once the show's out. Just pay your $8 with no commercials, and then you're done in a day.
Pig Royalty is immaculate. What are you? I know how I feel because I've watched the first 3 episodes.
I waited because I wanted to have a different point of view. I literally just watched the first episode.
Yeah, that's why you watched it. That's why you waited.
Well, it is. I don't want to be like dropping pearls that you already know. I want to have the experience of our listener. Can't I just have that?
The one.
Not listeners. Listener of Gary.
Of Carl's wife.
Gary and Carl's wife. Out in Montauk.
What are your, first of all, how do you respond? What did you think? What are words that come to mind when you think of Pig Royalty?
Real.
Yeah.
Real. This was the future Farmers of America in Lone Grove, Oklahoma, y'all. The pig competitions at the Hardy.
This cannot be a Lone Grove story.
I'm just saying.
I'm wanting your thoughts.
No, the competitions at Hardy Murphy Coliseum were ruthless.
How did you get out of showing pigs?
I didn't show pigs.
That's what
my friends show pigs.
So you did have friends who showed pigs.
Oh, yes, everywhere, y'all, and they all got scholarships.
So what kept you from doing
Jessica, it? Her cousin always wore her rope. You knew when she had her ropers on. Our school, Lone Grove. You drive like a mile from the school, and there's a huge farm for the FFA. They have their own school, and they teach the kids how to do
how to show pigs.
How to show pigs. They teach them.
But I'm saying, how did you avoid becoming a pig shower?
Limp wrist.
Gotcha.
That did
because
it.
The judge would have said, "Yeah, you're out, faggy."
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Hallam, I want to show this pig. Can I please?
They're like,
that's his name.
The pig can trot, honey. You can't.
That was true. The guy who did FFA was also one of the big, wasn't like bishops, but he was really, really big in Lone Grove First Baptist, and his wife always sang at First Baptist. But Mr. Hallam,
First Baptists don't have bishops.
It's whatever. There was something kind of
Minister?
Upper level. Maybe. Anyway, his wife, she had a beautiful voice. She would always sing. And then he always would wear ropers kind of up at his real waist. Not at your low waist, but up at his real waist.
What are ropers? I don't know what those are.
Ropers.
What are they?
The jeans.
They're called ropers?
Yeah, that was what they roper jeans. That's what all the girls, especially, but the guys would wear your Wranglers, your ropers.
Oh, is that a brand name, or is it a specific type of jeans?
Well, I'm from rodeo country, so a lot of people did rodeos, and I think still the international rodeos in Oklahoma City. So people are ropers because you're like riding a horse and you're roping.
How are those different than other jeans?
They're competition. They're nicer. So like all the future farmers, they would wear their ropers on the days that they were going to show pigs.
I thought this was a brand of jeans that was called ropers.
Maybe.
I don't know. I just saw it's like something that Mr. Roper would wear from Three's Company. So it's like a nice dress jean, you're saying.
Yes.
I see. That makes sense.
So, and they're usually high-waisted.
Okay.
And so, like, the butt is very pronounced because they're, they're up.
Yeah.
And so, anyway,
we need to keep going.
What
We have
happening?
so much
Oh my
to say
God.
about pig
So-
royalty,
so
not
for me-
your history.
So
God.
for me, it is real.
Okay.
The competition it's just real. That's when people are watching this are thinking, is this made up? Is this fake?
I don't care.
Y'all, this is real. What about you? What were some words for you?
Compelling.
Yeah.
They captured lightning in a bottle, because I rarely see a reality show topic that I'm like, because when I saw pig royalty, I'm like, ugh. I watched the trailer and I went, oh, this is really well done. Oh, this looks like a documentary film where
yes.
it feels filmic to me, and it feels like a film that is stretched out into almost a mini series. It looks like something that belongs on fucking HBO Max.
Well, I don't think you've watched Cheer yet.
I did. I couldn't get past the first episode. I'm sorry to
love
say.
Cheer, and I thought this was very similar the way it was filmed and the feeling. It's a documentary of Cheer.
Yeah, I couldn't get past.
You're just not into that world.
No, I'm not.
Too
much positivity.
Positivity, the woman. But I almost even wonder if it's the same production company because it's Texas and everything. Anyway,
Maybe.
It was. If you're into cheerleading, I highly recommend Cheer. If you like pig royalty,
y'all, this is mythic. This whole thing. This is the same kind of idea of a reality show of. You've got one clan versus another clan.
Hatfields and McCoys.
And it's all told through pig showing. And these and pigs,
the Capulets and the Montagues.
Yes. It's and it's so good. The characters are so compelling. Then there are people like Nugget. We fall in love with little Nugget. And then we have the three horrible daughters who might as well be the three witches from the Scottish play.
The Carlyles and the Cheeks.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, the Carlyles and the Cheeks. Oh, those are two families in Long Grove. They hate each other.
I don't know. I should not know these two families.
Well, the Carlyles, apparently they settled Long Grove back when Long Grove. You know what?
This is not going to be a Lone Grove. This is not happening. No.
I'm just saying, y'all, the Carlyles and the Cheeks don't fuck with that story. I'm just going to say someone died. Someone's horses died. We don't know where either are buried.
Oh, I'm still not interested. Mostly because this is about Texas and not about buttfuck Oklahoma. So let's dig in. Yeah,
this is about Texas in the San Antonio area.
I thought it was northern.
It's San Antonio.
Oh, so it's farther west.
They all live in suburbs of San Antonio, and that's what's interesting to me because I think a lot of people forget. I honestly love there's just a little bit more diversity, and we're seeing more of because San Antonio is it's like this Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
And you see cowboys in San Antonio, but you also see you have rancheros, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
I think so. It's a different type of vibe than it's very different, and I think way more interesting, honestly, than Dallas.
Dallas, yeah. But I think they travel everywhere in Texas because that's
where they're rooted in San Antonio,
in Dallas.
Yes.
And I think what's interesting is you can tell this is not they could have chosen, and I think we see this in the pig showing, they could have chosen normal your normal white bread white people to do this. They did not. They chose people, both of these women. I'm not sure what's her Jody's background is. Both these women are married to Mexican men or Latino men.
That's just normal in San Antonio, in that part of the country. But I'm
saying, if you see the rest of the people who are showing pigs, they don't look like that. These are people who are already.
They look like Mr. Hallam. It was very, very white.
I don't know who that is. You can't.
I want to contact Mr. Hallam. See how he's doing.
But
He was a
I'm just
sweet
saying
man.
that's already interesting because, as far as I know, I don't know if Mexican culture has a variation of pig showing.
Oh, I'm almost positive they do. But I don't know. I mean, I've come at us, Mexican sissies. Let us know.
But it's just, I'm saying this just sounds like something that is Western / culture, and they married into it.
Well, I know that, so the way it works in Texas, I know the little bit I know, it doesn't happen as much in Oklahoma, more and more now, because actually there's a lot of, horses are a bigger deal in Oklahoma where I'm from, where we had pigs, but everybody has horse ranches where we are.
Yeah.
And so, and some cattle, but it used to be more in Texas because I remember people making racial disparaging remarks about it.
Yeah.
But it's but we're growing up, like, people saying that, like, that here their horses are raised by white people. Like, people would say shit like that when I was growing up, and not in my family, but like I would hear friends say those disparage. That's not the case anymore. So what I think is interesting is that a lot of, there's this legacy of Latinx people who've really came to this country. Like, I would be surprised, but I feel like there's probably a legacy of people that have worked really hard to move up and now are kind of this acclaimed pig trainers, and really have this knowledge. And that's just, San Antonio is just a cool city.
No, I agree. I'm just wondering if there's a Mexican tradition of it.
I don't know. I know just from the little bit of, and I'm treading lightly on this because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I know a little bit to fuck it up. So that's why I'm not going to give an expert opinion on it. I'm trying to,
because I know for a lot of the Future Farmers of America stuff, that stuff comes from white people.
Yes.
And so definitely. Yeah. So I'm just saying that's interesting that we already have both of these teams
outliers
are not just pure white people. Yeah. Already we're in a different area.
I mean, this show is diverse as fuck. My mouth dropped at the amount of diversity that happened in this episode.
When the lesbian couple showed up, I lost my mind. That as I put in the Sissy Squad. So we're in Dallas, which is kind of the capital of North Texas. And I'm saying that in a very specific way because North Texas kind of belongs to the upper rural part mixed with Oklahoma and this kind of
Arkansas
region, which is more southern, and low and mid to lower Texas is where you have a lot more diversity. Places like Austin and Houston, and in general, the power is still in the hands of white people, in general in North Texas. So it's interesting to start off here, and they have they start with a prayer, as
they do.
So many things happen. They
guide us with our prayer.
They throw some shine spray on Cannon's hair. Now I need to talk about. We're going to talk about the
shine spray. Is also the shine spray they use in the pig.
Yes.
So I just want to say,
I didn't bat an eye.
Where can I get some shine spray? That's all I want to say. Where is it?
And they put it on the boy's hair, whose name is Cannon, and it is spelled Kannen, I believe.
Is that biblical? It's not, is it?
No.
Cannon.
Well, we're going to find out later. The girls all have K names. So your favorite tradition. So we meet Jody, you guys. Jody Rihn, who is married to Josh. And she basically says, this is our kind of matriarch of the Rihns.
Yes.
And she said, I was a poor kid growing up, so I'm trying to give my kids, live my dreams through my kids. And
at least she admits it.
And Jody is the audience's way in, obviously. And we kind of empathize with her mostly. Maybe things will change, but at the very beginning, that's who we're going to identify with. She's also the first person to talk. And in the documentary, you guys, that's always going to be the person who's going to take you on the journey. Usually, yes.
It's not just, I don't want to say just Joe. I mean, yes, it's Jody, but I feel like Jody's family seems like the kind of the most relatable.
They are,
family. Yeah, definitely.
So then we move to Michelle Balero,
the Baleros,
and her cousin Nugget.
Now, first of all, how do I describe Michelle Balero?
She was looking for the Toddlers and Tiaras pageant, but showed up at a pig show.
Basically, there is not a leopard print that this woman hasn't worn.
Totally true.
If it's leopard, she's gonna put it on her body.
Or cheetah.
If it's animal print and sequined, you bet it's been on her body multiple times.
And she's a little too tan. Hair's a little too treated. And the eye makeup, I'll let you take this one.
The eye makeup is, it looks a little tired. It's interesting that her daughters are so beat. And hers
her daughters are beat.
But it's like she did all of her daughters' makeup first. And then when they got ready to go to the ball, she said, "What about me?" And Mackenzie said, "Just slap something on your eyes with your fingers." And that's kind of what she did. And I'm going to be honest, because we're nothing but honest on this show. Michelle Bolero is kind of what I look like in drag.
You are dead on.
I'm just going to be honest. It's just kind of like
and I kind of look like Mackenzie in drag.
You fucking wish.
Maybe the other one. Maybe McCall. Could I be McCall?
You look like none of them in drag. You look like the guy we're going to see in later episodes who's the man actually wearing makeup.
We need to talk about, so there's Nugget. He's the cousin, and he's kind of become the surrogate child of Michelle because all her daughters have gone out. They've moved out of the house. She had 3. So
the Baleros are a lineage of 3 women, and they talk about how, and we'll get to them in a minute, but I just want to explain. Some people are going, wait a minute, I'm confused. Nugget is a child, is a boy.
Whose name is Tainter. We had to look that up. His name is Tainter.
Tainter. But they call him Nugget or the Nugget.
The Nugget with the definite article.
And so I think Michelle's sister-in-law is the mother.
She is.
Of Nugget. And Nugget is just like he looks.
Nugget's like the star of the show as well. One of them. He's
a star. He looks like a little hobbit. He's just adorable.
Got a cute little round face.
And so anyway, he calls Michelle Barn Bitch 1 and calls his mom Barn Bitch 2. And that's where I said, wait a minute, Poodle and I have been called that in an Apple Podcast review.
I don't know who was 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was still 5 stars, so I didn't mind.
Who cares?
But sure.
So we find out the daughters are Michaela, the oldest, Mackenzie, and McCall.
Michaela, Mackenzie,
and McCall. I'm going to give a moment for your bile to be to swallow your bile. Everybody out there, those are 3 awful Southern names.
Michaela, Mackenzie,
actually, Michaela, I've heard. McCall, I've never heard as a first name. But the idea of naming them in 3s like that, and you can imagine her screaming, Michaela, Mackenzie, McCall, Michaela, Mackenzie, McCall.
It kind of sounds like a Southern parrot.
Their faces are beat. They're 3 beautiful girls, and
they're gorgeous. And this is how, I don't know if it is for you, this is how a lot of girls look where I'm from.
Oh yeah. This was very North Texas too that I remember.
Wearing way too much makeup, y'all. They're pageant girls. Yeah. So all of them, their hair isn't blonde anymore, but back when they show pictures of them showing pigs,
big old
all
bumps.
Pink. They had huge hair. they have outfits that they wear. They wear jeans with white pressed shirts.
No, khakis with
or
white
khakis
shirts.
with white pressure, which is what FFA did. That's an FFA thing.
And it feels it feels almost like some type of cult how they wear those white shirts and khakis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they had a pink trailer that said the Rhinestone Girls.
Mm-hmm.
And
Michelle's trying to brand them, and she's doing a damn good job.
Now, the reason they do but there's different, because whereas we should say with Jody, the Rihns, right? That's how you say their last name. Rihns. There were the Rihns girls. So for Rihns, it was Cammie and Kylie.
I think it's Keeley.
I just heard a K thing and I went,
it is Keeley and Cammie. And Keeley is spelled like, hand me that key to that door, like Keylie, and Cammie with a K. And I believe it's Kammi.
Y'all, these are names that it's not ever going to happen to a CEO.
That's not fair. You don't know that.
I'm just saying.
I don't enjoy the gimmick of it. I just feel sorry about having these people having to spell their names consistently.
It's consistently.
And
so
Cannon is the youngest.
And Cannon is the youngest. So Keeley and Cammie, they had outfits too.
They showed pics as well.
Cammie always wore the Texas flag, and Keeley always wore the American flag. So now every time they show something, Cannon always wears some type of American flag shirt, kind of like Garth Brooks.
And I kind of think this is a decent brand to do. It doesn't feel as gross to me as the white shirt and khakis. I don't know why.
An American flag shirt always gets noticed by the judge. Always. always gets noticed.
So I just want to say one more thing before we'll talk a little bit more about the Baleros daughters later. But basically, Mackenzie is the tallest and the darkest and is definitely the villain of the show.
She even says, she says she's a bitch, but she also, that's her word, not Mars. She's like, they thought of us as bitches. She's like, I'm not very nice. I'm a bitch. And then she looks at her sister, Michaela, who's the oldest, and said, she's a bitch too. And Michaela just kind of looks out.
Y'all, Mackenzie is a very unhappy person.
Y'all, Mackenzie.
And she's scary.
Is like scary evil.
Yeah. And I think it comes from a place of hurt for sure. But y'all, they found themselves a villain. And you knew that when they were editing the footage that night and looking at it, they're like, this is so good.
This is these producers just started hugging each other. Mm-hmm. This show is just, it reminds me of say what you want to about her now. It reminds me of Mama June and Baby June. It's just I believe gold.
It's toddlers and tiaras, but with higher stakes in a way, because this is a huge money grab. And also almost generational rivalries between these two families. So I just wanted to describe there are two. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say also, this is again their words, not ours. This also not as about. It's also about this. What I loved about this show, it's putting in. It's just combining a lot of elements, because it also is talking about classism. Yeah, where the Baleros sisters, this sounds, but at least from what the looks of it, the Baleros sisters, they're the blingy girls. That's what they call them. They live in a house, and they're considered more wealthy. Where the Rihns girls say, The Rihns girls say we're white trash, and we're just above that. And then the Baleros sisters are Sephora, way above us.
Yeah, or something like that.
You see, they're living in a trailer house, and it's just, I'm not judging that. I'm just saying though, y'all, that's a big deal. Probably where you're from too. Where I'm from, there's not a lot of rich people where I'm from, but my parents didn't teach me this, but I know other people that would look, if you lived in a brick house, they wouldn't let you date somebody who lived in a trailer house. Was looked down on.
It's similar in South Carolina.
And I imagine those same dynamics. Y'all might watch this and not think a thing about it.
Yeah.
But just so you know, the Baleros sister, they've thought about this. It's part of their world. So we're talking about classism too.
Yeah. It's classless. We're delving into every aspect of these people's lives and culture and class through pig showing. which is why
True
it's so
pig showing.
good.
Which is normally what Poodle calls his Saturday night.
Y'all, who wants to come to the pig show? I've thrown in some fresh wood chips.
Fresh wood chips.
So basically, I want to say there's two categories of pig showing. There's best breed, which is when you can get the more money.
That's Poodle's Friday night.
Best breeding.
Yeah.
And then there's showmanship. That's Saturday. That's more a Saturday night.
That's true.
And so that's more about the handler. And the breeding is much more about the pig. So you can win a lot more money from breeding than you can from showmanship.
But yes,
it's
they
still
get scholarship.
Yeah.
They get this money. They've all used, these kids compete in this because I don't know if they actually give them checks or if it's considered money for scholarships. But
I do not know.
But they pay for like $60,000 to pay for school and college. That's a big deal.
It's quite lucrative.
And again, that's a thing where I grew up. Y'all, it was very rare that your parents could just pay for your college.
Right.
So that's why I got into music and started doing music, because I needed to get a scholarship to help pay for school.
Mm-hmm.
So and that is why these kids did that. I mean, they enjoyed it, but that all of these things they did it just for scholarship money. I think that's everywhere though in America. But.
Yeah. I mean, but especially in rural areas, even though these are suburbs of San Antonio, you get outside the city, it's basically rural.
Because your talent, that your extracurricular activity is your way out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not super, super smart and making a perfect SAT and all that, but even then in rural communities, even if you're really smart, you still have to compete with the smart kids who live in the city and have access to
Right.
It's just, that's harder. So it really is you latch, because I guarantee you, y'all, Mackenzie wants to move out of this town probably as quickly as possible.
I think they all don't live with their mom anymore, though. They're there for the show. They're there
for the show.
And they all want their reality shows. They all want their spinoff.
They'll get it. And
Jody could have her own too. I think Jody could probably have, and that family could, but the girls would
this
are
is
perfect
what is
for it.
Exciting about, I have to say, God, I'm so mad at them, because especially since they tried to sue us. This is what's exciting about Discovery Plus, is because this wouldn't work on TLC.
No,
the way it's filmed, the way it's edited, like you said, feels premium, and it would feel
HBO
weird
Max to me.
And the show probably wouldn't go far on TLC. It's so beautifully done.
It's too niche. It's too expensive for TLC on the air, and it's too niche for premium television.
Yeah,
it's perfect for something like this. And because I was going to say, I thought it was going to be like some kind of another bad farm animal show about people having goofy people having like showing pigs and being weird. That's not what this is, y'all. This is real people. You said before, you would say real. This is real conflict, real families. Anyway, so more talk about, they have their first competition. This is in Dallas, and Cannon is showing his pig, and also Nugget is showing as well. And their kids are kind of close in age. I think Ken is a little older than Nugget.
I think. Yeah. We should describe for people that, can we talk about kind of what happens in a pig showing for people that don't have Discovery Plus?
Okay. So basically you have how you show a pig. I never thought I would have to describe this on air.
Yeah.
But who knew I'd be here?
Who knew?
When I was signing up for those doctoral classes. So you have the pig, and it's kind of walking. It's Zuckerman's famous pig, nose in the air.
Wow, looking embarrassed. Zuckerman's famous pig.
And you got a little, they call it a whip, but it's not. So don't think that they're actually whipping the pigs, you guys. They're just kind of tapping them in the direction they want them to go in.
Yes.
And you have to build your rapport with this pig. So the pig, you're using the little wand or whip or whatever it is, and you're kind of making them go in a direction. You're touching the side of their face, and they're kind of going, and you're trying to keep their head up.
It's literally just touching. It's not.
And you're trying to keep to show the judges their best, like butt, haunches. I've actually promenaded in this way quite often
I was gonna
across
say,
Akbar.
Are we talking about pig showing now? Because now it just feels like poodle dating.
But instead of a whip, it's like a vodka soda right here.
Vodka right on his
right on
cheek.
my cheek. Dick, 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 dick.
But that sounds easy enough. But y'all, they're doing this in a big pen with 20 other pigs
and they're trying
20
to make
other handlers.
eye contact with the judges.
So there's one judge, and you have to make contact with the judge. You have to get the judge. So part of the game is getting the judge to notice your pig in the sea.
Yeah,
it's like a chorus line, and it's like a.
God, I hope I get it.
Get it?
I hope I get it.
Get it? It's like a chorus number where
how
the
many
choreographer
piglets does he need? How many boys? How many sows? How many?
Look at all the
hogs?
piglets. At all the piglets. But it is like a mass. It's like a dance, or like so you think you can dance when there's 20 people dancing.
Need
okay,
this buckle.
Focus. There's 20 people dancing, and they pick one of the pigs, and so that's where they pick the best breed and the best showman. So that's what Nugget and that's what
Cannon
are doing. Right, they're showing the pigs, and so they show the pigs. Turns out neither of them win.
And
it doesn't go well.
Cannon, because I want to say he's probably, what is he, 10, 11?
He's like 10. He's a little bit older than Nugget, but not much.
And Nugget's probably 8 or 9. Maybe 9.
Yeah.
So Cannon immediately starts crying because that's what 10-year-old boys do when you lose and you feel like a lot of pressure, and the people are kind of yelling at them to do both things. Reminded me, kind of flashed me back to soccer games with my mother. And
because we should say,
get down the field.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, Jay-Bird. Call. Ralph, what are you doing?
Yeah, because while they show the pigs, they are yelling at them.
Yeah.
Did your mother ever yell so much that you were embarrassed?
Oh, all the time. We asked her. It got to the point where our coach asked our mother not to yell anymore.
Did she?
She still did, but she kept herself. She screamed. Then she would just yell at the refs. She's like, "Wait a minute! He pushed that kid." She'd scream all the time. It's why I stopped playing soccer, actually.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, Mother Poodle loves to yell at the refs. I guarantee you there are moms out there who are just as bad, who are listening, who are yelling at their...
My sister-in-law, Amber, she's that way. Mm-hmm. She gets total sports crazy.
Yeah.
Come at us, sports crazy moms. And so they're crying. Now, it's showing that, whereas it's interesting because they're showing that with the Rihns, they're very supportive.
Yeah, they're telling Kim dry up, but that's what they tell little boys in the South, unfortunately.
But they're also saying things like, you'll get your best.
Better. Yeah, Tyler, the gay coach for the Rihns.
Who's like a 20-year-old gay coach. He's like supporting him, whereas Nugget is just kind of like, I didn't win, that sucked.
The sisters are like, you were doing it all wrong. I've never seen you show that poorly.
Yeah, and Michelle is kind of like the dance mom, where she's just like cussing, saying fucking judges and piece of shit. And now, but notice though, Michelle is the woman who keeps talking about how classy they are.
Yeah, I guarantee you, when this aired for the first time, I guarantee you Michelle probably tried to file a lawsuit against them because she's appearing so badly.
Well, and again, to go back to classism stuff, y'all, they do all these smaller tournaments and shows and fairs and things, because it's a season, y'all. This happens always in the fall. Mm-hmm. It's like pig season.
Pig season.
Exactly.
That's coming up for me, y'all. Got my second shot. Ooh, pig season starts in 10 days.
10 days. Wow. But there's the big championship is in San Antonio, and she says, yes, the Rihns have won smaller buckles and smaller champion. It's just like beauty pageants, but they never won like the state championship in San Antonio. Only they've won that. And so that's where we get into a little bit. So the boys didn't win, and then go ahead.
I just want to say, are you going to talk about the Balero girls a little bit more in some of the discussion?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. You talk about that.
So they're talking. They're sitting there in their interview. 3 of them
On a swing bench in the middle of the prairie.
The editing and the shooting of this is just delicious.
It is.
And they're sitting, and they're all like, we're trendsetters. And Mackenzie's talking a lot.
Y'all, they're the Kardashians of South Texas.
And then they ask Mackenzie, they're like, do you know the Rihns? And she's like, I saw them in a couple shows. Did they win buckles? It was the equivalent of I don't know her. It was amazing.
She would literally, and they're like, no, but they won. And she's like,
I don't know.
I don't know if they did or not.
I don't know
for them.
Sure. Good for them. It's like whatever.
It is.
It's delicious. It's so good. Then they're saying, basically, look at all our ribbons, blah, blah, blah. And then also the Baleros, I'm just going on with the Baleros. There's this rumor, Tyler is talking about the gay coach, which is really interesting.
Yeah, let's talk about secrets in general. There's a whole section about secrets.
Tyler says...
they get down and dirty.
It's like,
snuggling
the Baleros,
up to the judges and the breeders.
Snuggling up to the judges, the Baleros, and the breeders. And it's like, and that guy is juicing. He's like, I don't know if they're juicing those pigs or what. And Roy, I think his name is Roy Balero. That's the husband of Michelle.
The husband
basically says, I don't know. I'm just.
He says, I got no secrets.
I got no secrets. And Nugget's mom goes, yeah, you do. You won't let anybody come in there and see them.
Yeah, she goes, that's what I love about Southern people is they will call each other out. Yeah. For instance, so
y'all, Teresa don't have teeth either, so don't really look at her. No.
She doesn't have teeth at all. Mm-mm. And whereas, so it's also like the Baleros. So Michaela, it was a rumor that she was sleeping with one of the judges. And Michaela, on camera, the editing is such, she's like, no, I earned everything. Yeah. I earned everything that I got on your back. And then we cut to Mackenzie, and we hear the producer say, did you ever sleep with a judge? And she said, no. You should probably ask Michaela about that, though. She literally throws her sister under the bus. Even when she says, when I heard that, I was kind of like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Like, I think her sister started the rumor.
I think so. She has allegiance to no one.
It's almost amazing. It kind of takes your breath away how cold she is.
Because even Poodle wouldn't do that to me. And she's a shady bitch.
Maybe.
But what I want to bring up, I was just reminded about this. My brother, he's like changing jobs and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, I just want to do a good job. And I said kind of my quote that I've been saying a lot, like, what other people think of you is none of your business. And he said, that's not the case in a small town. What other people think of you in a small town is a big deal, and you can't get away from it.
It's fair.
And even more so when you're a woman, and even more so when you're a pretty woman.
Yep.
And it's this idea, it sounds stupid or it seems antiquated, but the fact that Michaela slept with a judge, this whole Scarlet...
We don't know that. We just know...
that allegedly. I don't think she did. But anyway...
you haven't seen the second episode.
Okay. Well, it's not... But anyway, it's not if she did or she didn't. Mm-hmm. It's the rumor that ruins her.
Yeah.
It's the rumor that gives her a scarlet. And this brings up another point. Y'all, when you live in small towns like this, especially in the South, but I think probably anywhere, the legacy of your family and what your family does in the community is kind of, for some families, all they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. That's a big deal to my father, to the other Mars in our community, of how people see us. It's a real, I think you mentioned that like on your mom's side of the family. Yeah. That's a big deal for them.
It's a big deal because that is, it's not necessarily, you hold also the worth of your entire family.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
And that is a very antiquated kind of tribal way to live, but that is the way people live in the South and in small rural communities.
Yeah,
that's how they live.
Sorry for doing a bit of like anthropology, but I feel like it's important to I think that's why Jake and I like the show. It's why I love Cheer. It's like we get it. We get this culture. Yeah. We know it. We lived it. That's why we got out of it.
Right. So there, we also meet in the Reen family. We've already talked about the two girls, Cammy and Keely, and Cannon, the little boy. We also meet Manu, their exchange student from fucking Madrid.
This is where I went, what the fuck is happening?
Is there going to be like an Inuit person with a full harpoon who shows up next?
Yes. Y'all.
A Dutch girl selling things.
Manu even says, I love living with the Rihns. If you live with the Rihns, you better like pigs or they'll get rid of you.
Or they'll get rid of you, which I can see.
They literally got an exchange student so that way the exchange student could show pigs in tournaments.
They needed more bodies to have. And what's interesting is, I don't know if they say this on this episode, but I want to say it anyway. The girls sometimes who you see on the Baleros team, they actually pay Michelle to be on their team. The family.
Oh, they do. Mm-hmm. The family does. Wow.
And I think you find it on the next episode, but I think that's a very interesting thing.
And yes,
and Jody is just taking on all these people. I don't think they're paying her.
So people pay Michelle to coach them.
Yes.
And Jody's taking on people.
Yes.
Okay. So that is because, we're going to talk about that later. And so, it's this legacy that Michelle talks about that we're going to get to later on, which I think is a better way to end the show. But.
And I want to say that the Rihns they've got Tyler, the gay coach. Already we have the diversity for Texas is insane, you guys. And then they have Jody's high school friend.
The Teeks.
What?
Or the Tykes?
Tykes. Something like that.
Mandy. It's Mandy.
Mandy, they were best friends in high school. And Mandy's son Brandon shows for the Rihns.
For the Rihns, yes.
And Mandy's married to Kristen.
Mandy got divorced and Brandon's had a hard time with it, but married to Kristen.
A woman.
They also have a younger son, Mason.
I think that's Kristen's
son.
I think that's
and
Kristen's
Mason
son.
Shows as well.
Yes.
So it's all about this kind of
blended families and kind of outsiders. I find the Rihns so I say compelling again, but I can't stop watching them, and I'm so interested in them.
Well, I'm just going to we're going to take a little break for a commercial. If you're in this is normally going to be a show at the $8 tier, but the first 2 episodes are free.
Yeah.
So if you're in our Reality Gaze extra feed, you'll just keep on listening. But the rest of you, we're going to give a commercial. But just as a tease, when we get back, we're going to talk about Notorious P.I.G.
So, Notorious P.I.G.
That is a pig of the Teeks, I believe.
Teeks. Mandy and Kristen.
Sounds like Dyke, and they're going to get made fun of for that.
What?
Hopefully it's not Tykes. But
it does.
It's the Teeks, and y'all, that is such a country name where I'm from.
Oh, I've never heard it before.
Oh, Teek. There's just weird,
but it's TYK.
TYK.
Yeah.
So again, it's Mandy and Kristen. They're kind of they are the underdogs because basically they don't have a lot of money and they're very new. They're
and
they don't have a name for themselves. They're very new to this. And which it's interesting that I probably didn't do it because they're a lesbian couple. Usually they would be the gateway into the world. But I like the way they've done it. But don't you agree? Usually it's the person entering the world and we get the worldview for there. And they didn't do that. That's why I like it.
It depends on how reliable they are.
Exactly.
So
but don't you see what I'm saying? That's usually the formula of a lot of these reality shows are like, who's the person coming into the world? And I like that they are doing something different with this show.
Yes, but not really, because in a way, the Rihns are coming into, even though they've been in it for a while, in a bigger way. The lesbian couple are new, and we're going to watch them probably fail and probably get somewhere by the end.
Well, they kind of are betting on the notorious PIG, and that is their pig that they love.
Right.
It looks good. He's doing really well. But y'all, the pig literally gets sick before.
And they have to give him a shot, and it's terrifying.
The pig gets sick before they have a contest in Dripping Springs, Texas.
Dripping Springs.
There's a place called Dripping Springs. No one says dripping. Everybody calls it Dripping Springs.
Dripping Springs. And what's interesting here is they say when they're talking about Mandy and Kristen, the son didn't accept it at first, as we said before, but they're doing a brush burning. You ever been to a brush burning on like someone's property? Yeah, it happens all the time where I'm from. Yeah, and sometimes it'll just be everyone. You gather the brush and you burn it. Self-explanatory, right? And for some reason, everyone just hangs out and watches it burn.
You just sit around by the fire, and so they're having. It's interesting because Jody really is trying to present this. Jody's no angel, y'all, and she's a very. Jody is still Jody.
Tell us why you think that, but I'm not arguing with you.
I don't think she's, and maybe Angel's right. She's still. Usually on these shows, like the Baleros would seem very calculated, and the Rihns would you kind of think at first the Rihns seem very earnest about everything.
Yeah.
But Jody is manipulative, and she knows how to work this.
I agree. I
think that we see a little bit of, she brings these people in, of these people that show under her, and she talks so much about, we're a family.
Right.
We're all going to show pigs together. Like, we're here to support one another. And it feels very kumbaya-ish.
It does. Yep.
And Mandy and Kristen bring up, they say, we're so grateful that you accepted us, the lesbian couple. And Tyler's like, I think probably y'all.
He had a harder time coming out.
And he's like, I think Jody's almost like a mom to him.
Yeah. He said, basically, you accepted me when my parents really didn't. And
yes,
and we're a United Nations or whatever. He was trying to say Benetton ad,
which is a big deal in the South anyway. But you also got to think, y'all, this is Tex-Mex, so we've seen what happened with Armando and Kenny with like Mexican culture and ideas of homosexuality. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal that Jody's family are so kind of like, we love everybody.
It is.
Everybody come on. That's a very big deal there. And so they kind of present this idea, but then when they show kind of them at the Dripping Springs event, Michelle and them are having to show another pig, and they're totally throwing Jody under the bus and saying Jody said that she would help them, and she didn't do. And it really is, you can tell.
She didn't pick up the phone. Yeah.
Kristen is pissed. Kristen said, well, we tried to reach out, but she never picked up the phone.
Right.
And kind of looks at the camera, and you're like, whoa.
And it's really tough because you wonder, yes, Jody's going to take care of her own stuff first, and Jody probably makes a lot of promises when she's trying to get people into what she's doing.
Probably, yeah.
But it was interesting. Did you get clarified the argument? When I watched the first time, I didn't get everything. But what happened was, they
kind of have a come to Jesus talk.
Yeah. And they have to show another pig, Strike, who doesn't even show and who's not really ready. The team.
And so Brandon shows he doesn't win, and Brandon's like, oh, he didn't even look at me, didn't even look at the pig.
Right. And so they're basically saying, Jody comes.
Well, Mandy's crying too. We should say, y'all, it becomes full on high school. Kristen's talking to Mandy, and Mandy is like, well, everybody else opens their legs and opens their pocketbooks, and we can't do that.
It is.
She's
I'm
crying.
saying the stakes are so high, you guys.
It is so high school. It's so high school.
So Jody did not get back to them about Notorious being sick.
How to help Notorious.
So what's interesting, they're very upset with her. And Mandy says, I feel like I'm losing, what you just said, I'm losing all the time. I'm doing this. And they didn't, and Kristen is saying, we didn't buy any of the pigs because we were waiting for you. And then Jody says, well, no, I told you a pig. And she's like, but it was $2,400.
And Jody said, there's $10,000 of pigs in there. If you're going to be in the pig pen, you got to spend the money.
Right. And which is an interesting thing to say. But also she's like, well, I'll help you through this. But so how much is she helping? You could also kind of understand where she's coming from. But
It's not. That's where that's kind of where it reminded me, honestly. The way it's filmed, but it's just so referential. It reminded me a bit of the main woman. What is her name? The coach from Cheer, because she's kind, but she's also very Jody kind of is, I think, is starting to be this way. Jody sees things very black and white.
Yeah.
And and weirdly, it's like probably to compete and she's had to turn a lot of her emotion off.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't look at these things emotionally. Y'all, Mandy is just a big walking ball of just emotions.
They're going to have to get a little tougher if they're going to do this.
This is going to be hard on their friendship.
Yeah. I want to talk about a couple of little things that Michelle basically says. The great line. She's like, this is going to keep going. My kids will have kids, and then their kids are going to show. It's going to come full circle. We're going to keep doing this.
We're not going anywhere. And then she said, and she has daughters. They're going to have kids. They're not going anywhere either.
It's so amazing that they would just expect that all the daughters are going to stay in the area and their kids will be into pig showing. I would if I had children, I would never expect that of my kids.
But I think it's the family business.
Yeah, I get it.
A lot of people expect your child to go into the family business.
I get it. There is one part where where Michelle has to squeeze out the piss pocket.
Again, that's Poodle's Wednesday night.
Piss pocket.
This was gross.
And she's like, you got to milk it. And so evidently that happens. The urine gets trapped in some part of their penis, and you have to squeeze it out, or some part of their bladder, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yes.
It was disturbing. So I thought was interesting. There was one little bit about the Canes, who are the family who are who show with the Baleros.
Yes,
there are two girls who do that, and though we do see later on, Jody starts talking to the father of those two girls and says, "Oh, your girls are doing
they're
great."
Twin girls, right?
I'm not sure if they're twins. Maybe at least fraternal, but they say things like, "Yeah, your daughters are doing great. If you need anything, just give me a call."
And this is where I'm talking about.
That is sly, and she knows it pisses Michelle off.
And Michelle is over there going, "I can't believe she's doing that. This is a bunch of bullshit."
Yeah,
and she is pissed. And then this is after already they did a showing in Dripping Springs, and y'all, Cannon, whatever, Cannon won, and not only did he win,
I loved it.
Not only did he win his competition, he was asked to judge the younger competition. And guess who was showing in the younger competition? Nugget. Y'all, when you were watching him,
my
judge
pulse
Nugget,
was racing.
Yes, I was holding my breath. I was like, what is going to happen?
I told you this show was good.
And he was judging Nugget, and it turns out this young girl with a ginormous bow in her hair.
Very JoJo Siwa.
It was like Jodie Sweetin on Fuller House. She ends up winning, and Nugget comes in second, and Michelle is furious.
And she's like, that's like having a coach of one of your teams in the Super Bowl being a referee.
She's like, yeah, this is just, and her over there talking to the Kane twins. That's just, you know what? We're classy. We're just classy, and we're professional. We're going to keep it that way. Cut to, we see Mr. Kane saying, "Oh, the Jody Rihns, she spoke to me."
Oh, I love
and
this.
It was really nice to her. And Michelle says, "Oh, that's good of her to do that.
Yeah.
That's real good." And then she walks away.
Don't be surprised if it's a setup.
It's setup. It's a setup. She's going to fuck you over, just so you know. But that's fine. Good for you.
And so Jody has done what she wanted and got her pissed off. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And at the very end, she's like to camera and confessional, "You reap what you sow."
Get it? Because it's Sal.
I did not even think.
Sal spelled the same way. Yeah.
No. Reap what you sow is SEW.
Oh.
Like you
Oh,
sow
yeah, like
something.
sowing. Oh, never mind.
No. I don't think you understand. Like you sow seeds. You don't sow like this.
But I know. Just
like you sow grass. You understand, people?
Yes.
Why am I feel like I want to throw my head through a plate glass window sometimes.
Y'all, it's good. We're here for it. There's gonna be a shitstorm coming. It's only, as this episode premiered, there's only 4 episodes that have dropped.
Right. I think there's probably gonna be 8. I'm thinking 8. Maybe
they drop
6.
one a week.
Yeah. They dropped the first 2 in 1 week. And then they dropped that we're up to episode 4 now, and I think episode 5 will drop on Tuesday. That's when it drops.
And y'all, we're doing the same thing. We're dropping our first 2 episodes on this free feed. If you're listening on our Reality Gaze feed, we're dropping again. Try before you buy. And then if you're interested and you want to download the rest of this show, you go to our $8 tier of our Reality
Either
Gaze Extra.
Patreon or Supercast.
Yes, and what you can also get with that, you can get all the back episodes of Love After Lockup. When Love After Lockup comes back in June, you'll be able to get that. That was our smothered tier. So
and you also get all current episodes ad-free.
Ad-free commercial. So even regular 90
for
Days
your
Fiancé, ad-free for your pleasure. That's the show. That's all I got.
That's the show. God, this show's so good. I really enjoy it.
I really like it too.
This has literally been the best thing I've watched since 2021.
We're getting some gifts between this and then that sister show that's coming.
I'm really scared to watch it.
Because you know you're going to love it and we're going to have to do it.
It's actually a little sick to me.
You said that about Smothered?
Yeah.
And boy, you ate those words.
Well, they're still... if Sarah and what's her name come back and Lori come back, you'll have to be like Clockwork Orange me for my eyes, because that's the one where I just feel sad watching them. Oh, Sarah, you're gonna give me a kidney?
Yeah, Mom, sure.
Oh, I love you so much.
Great, smell my teeth. Anyway, y'all, that is the show. That is Pig Royalty.
What's our sign off?
We don't have one. You can go to realitygazepodcast.com for all our other shows. Come at us on Cameo and Twitter. Hey, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that so much. If you don't know what to say, you can just say,
keep going, Queen.
And with that, y'all,
we'll see you later.
It's gonna work.